All right. Hey, everybody. This is Dark Side Elite here, and I got Hawk today. This is on our new channel. It's going to be called The Elites. I will have the link uh, to the website in the description. I will have will be our final podcast on the Dark Side Elite podcast. We're going to move it over to the Elites podcast. So there are going to be some changes and everything else, but I got everything set up and it's up and running. You can see all of mine, all the way up to when I got Hawk involved, all the way up to then, and you guys can be able to subscribe there. So this will be our final one on this podcast, and then we're going to move over. And again, I will have the link at the very bottom into the description. So how you doing, my man?
They're just doing a lot of BS.
I know everybody is. Got the sniffle virus, and then we have all this other political stuff going on, and people burn our country into the ground, and whatever. So,
Yeah, mine's basically allergies and stuff like that, how it dries you out, and I get bloody noses because of the fucking allergies and shit. So,
right,
it's a good time. So,
right, all right. So, today we're gonna talk about the DC fandom. I took right before I got on, I looked at a good amount of it. There's some stuff in here that's really really cool, and my biggest thing is, like I said in our previous podcast, I'm hoping they get a really really good host. I hope the host is going to be really good. It keeps the excitement going, because right now it's time for an escape now. I'm even talking about Marvel, if Marvel has something going on, because there's a lot of crap going on and we need to have an escape. And for myself, comic books is a great escape. And since we didn't get San Diego Comic-Con, and we're definitely not going to get New York Comic-Con. I'm hoping that like DC, Marvel, and all these other big companies are gonna have at least something to showcase to get us excited about some of the things that's been going on behind the scenes. We all know that since we got the sniffle virus, a lot of things have been put on hold. We know that Tenet isn't canceled. Tenet isn't canceled. It's actually being opened overseas. So it's canceled.
yeah,
It's a. Go
I
ahead.
invest in AMC, and I heard the news and stuff like that, and most of the theaters overseas are AMC theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already open over there, like Dubai and all that,
Yeah.
like that parts of, I think,
Like.
France and little couple places in England and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
people don't realize, like, AMC is the world's biggest theater chain. So they had to do something. They had
Yeah.
to.
They have to.
America is just holding them back, because this is how I know the theaters are open. My stock went up.
Yeah.
So that's how I know. I was like, it's open. So that means people are already watching the movies I wanted to fucking see already. Excuse my language. That, it's like they did all these things, and it's pretty neat too, like what they did for people watch movies. Actually, they should have done this years ago, because I don't like people as it is. Just because I'm in the theater don't mean I want to freaking hear you on your phone, or have you sitting there texting and the light is hitting me, because I like to sit up top so I can see the whole screen.
Mm-hmm.
If I see your phone, I'm going to make you eat it. I'll get annoyed. Like, if you're sitting there talking on the phone, you're going to eat that phone. I paid to see this movie, and tickets are not cheap anymore. Like,
No.
you're paying almost $20 for one person now, and especially you're on a date with your significant other. And I don't really care for popcorn in movie theaters, but I'll go for sometimes a soda, and then we'll share that or whatever. But come on, you got your phone out there doing nonsense. Your life is not more important than everybody else who paid for the ticket.
Right.
If you have situations, don't go to the movies then.
Right.
Stay out of the movies. We don't need you here. Go away.
No.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
There was
No.
one time I smacked somebody. I wasn't with my wife at the time, but I smacked them so hard. I was with my friends, and they're looking at me like, "Wow, you're fun to be around." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So You guys can stay my friends, man. I like that. You know, because I'm not. I was working as a bouncer for so long in New York that anything that was, how you say, oxygen thief level for me, I would smack you. And I would smack your phone in the street if you're sitting there texting on your phone, but you're in my way. And the bag I used to carry for work weighed 70 pounds. You think I'm going to zigzag around you because you're on your phone? No, your phone is going in the street, and I'll hit it so hard that the cops will laugh. And that's happened a few times. And I thought that was awesome. I was holding my wife's hand. I'm walking. Somebody's using the phone. I shove him out the way. She said, you pushed him so hard, he went in the street. I'm like, fine, let's go. We're going somewhere. I don't care. You should not be texting and walking. You should not be texting in a place where people are in a dark room trying to watch a movie and you get a light in your eye out of nowhere. Like, oh, what happened in this scene? I don't know. Ask the Austin thief playing with this phone. But yeah, that's
I
my.
know.
Let me not go any further because I get kind of
All right.
extra.
Yeah, I hate that too. Um, that's why it's a good thing I have my watch because my watch is hooked up to the phone. So if I get a text, it's not bright enough to really mess with anybody. And even then,
No, I don't even wear a watch.
um, and even then they do have programs that I mean they have a program there where basically your phone will go into like almost like a sleep mode until the movie is done. So AMC even did that. Like if you go to AMC theaters, they have an app where the moment you walk into a theater, you press that button and it turns it put your screen on black. You put like I think it does like a message to everybody and everything else, and so you don't have to worry about your phone. And the moment the movie's over, you open your phone up, turn off the everything else, and it gives you all the stuff that you missed.
Well,
So
here's the
that's
funny
cool.
part. Uh, different times and things like that. You would text sometimes, but the movie hasn't started yet. The lights are still on, and you get the stupid
Yeah.
commercials that they do right at the
Yeah.
movies. Talk to you later. That's
Yep.
it. And I will not text until it's done or until I get home, which is usually until I get home.
Right. All right. So one of the things that's going on right now is the DC Fandom, and I'm hoping because this weekend got kind of a bust, but I'm hoping I get next weekend off. I want to be at least Saturday because I want to be able to be here for Saturday. I want to
Yeah, because that's the
join.
one that we planned on.
Yeah, I want to be here. I want to be able to be a part of this because I wasn't part of the Justice Con because I had to be at work. I want to be here for
Yeah.
this one. Um, this is very important because I'm a DC fan and I've been saying it many times and I miss all these other opportunities, but this is the one I want to sit down because we got a brand new executive officer, chief executive officer in Ann Sarnoff. I believe Ann Sarnoff, let me see, I think she came from Sony, I think it was. Let me see. And she's the first woman to hold the CEO position too. So wow, that's not
Yeah.
bad.
Well, let's see what happens
Yeah.
because the last few weren't
Oh,
doing too good.
well, she came from Viacom.
All right, so
So
they used to make our Saturday morning cartoons, by the way, if anybody doesn't
yeah.
know that. And you'll watch
Mhm.
these cartoons on Saturday mornings before, millennials ruined it. And
Mhm.
then it'll go Viacom. After you
Right.
watch like certain animes or something like that, my phone turned on. That's interesting. Yeah, Google, why are you listening in? Shut up. But I said Viacom. I didn't say the other thing. What the hell?
Right.
Anyways, uh, you always see that. I don't think there was that many other companies that was putting out Saturday morning stuff.
No, they weren't.
So it was like very minimal, and then Warner Brothers started coming out with some of their stuff, which like Warner Brothers always had cartoons, but I'm talking about like it wasn't Saturday mornings though. This is the thing; it was after school.
Yeah.
Batman anime series.
Yeah.
It's after school.
Yeah. Yeah. After school
So
cartoons and such. Yeah.
Fox had that. I don't know where it was in any other state, but I know Fox had it, and they would put it around 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, which was it was cool. But then as you get older, and you're watching this cartoon, and you're like, wow, this is not for kids. And I
Mm-hmm.
was watching this when I was little, and I'm just sitting there like, what? Like the type of stuff that was in that, it was kind of funny because it was adult content, really.
Right. Yeah, it
So,
was.
but I watched Married with Children too at night. So I don't know, man. Like I just had like that sense of humor that was already beyond a kid. And George Carlin was my favorite comedian. Dennis Leary. Years later, I mean, I used to watch him on the MTV rants and stuff that he had during political agendas that they were trying to put out, and then they had him on there, and he's saying this, and he's like having these rants. So you could probably find those on YouTube. This is before he started getting popular for TV and stuff.
Right.
And then you're watching this, and these are the comedians that I liked, and of course Robert Williams, Billy Crystal. Robert
Mm-hmm.
Williams more though. On HBO used to do this comedy fundraisers with Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, and those were always cool to watch if you had HBO or if you're lucky you knew
Right.
somebody that had HBO and you were there or something. So I always watched that type of stuff. And HBO was starting to snatch up movies like shortly after they got in movie theaters. Like I saw Big Trouble in Little China on HBO because they snatched it up so quick that it ended up on HBO. And I was like, all right, cool. I used to stay up late just to watch Mike Tyson punch somebody's brain through their
Yeah.
ass. Like that's just something I like watching. I was like, wow, he's cool. Then you hear him talk, I'm like, he's still cool. I don't
Right.
care if he sounds like that. That dude is still cool. He's humble.
Right.
So they made a cartoon for him
Yeah, I remember
on
that.
Cartoon Network, Adult
Uh,
Swim, right? So you're sitting
yeah.
there like, man, this cartoon's actually kind of weird, but it's kind of cool though. I'm kind of glad that some channels are still trying to put out like interesting content, like Rick and
Mm-hmm.
Morty. You know, I like Rick and Morty. Think of it as a bizarre world of Back to the Future. You know, Doc Brown
Yeah. It's kind
doing
of
his weird
yeah.
stuff.
It's kind of like Rick and Morty is a mixture of Doc Brown and Marty and if anybody remembers, oh my God, I forgot the dog and the boy. It was part of the whole Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Uh, so the dog,
Oh,
the dog,
Peabody, Peabody,
yeah,
Peabody.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
Peabody.
the dog, and it was only done during Bullwinkle.
Yeah,
So that's the only way you were able to see that.
yeah,
If you
right,
were into the sarcastic, super smart dog, you would
right.
have to watch it on Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle,
Rocky and Bullwinkle seemed very Canadian to me. Probably
right.
was a cartoon, but no, it wasn't. But it's just kind of one of those deals. You're like, wow,
Ah,
like this is interesting. So I used to stay up a lot for that too when Nickelodeon used to play late night, like old school stuff.
right.
And I just, growing up, you and I growing up in the 80s and stuff like that, and then in the 90s, they used to do all these reruns of shows on channels now that make their own shows. Sci-fi used to play in the day all the old school classic TV shows, and Lost in Space. Uh, you had Land of the Giants, and it's just these old shows used to play all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
had chicken pox, and all I did was just watch Sci-Fi Channel. That's all I did. Nothing else. Sci-Fi Channel. And if I changed it on something else, it was like, oh, Sci-Fi Channel is playing something I really don't care for, which was rare. But there was always like a show once in a while. I was like, oh, this show is garbage. So I put it on some random thing. And the only thing that was on in the daytime, and this is what annoyed me, was those stupid daytime talk shows. And I'm like, what the? Why? Like, and then all of a sudden, you know how that disappeared? I remember she was on the news for this too. So Jenny Jones,
I
she
remember her.
had a guest on there, and he didn't know his neighbor was a on the left side of the tracks.
Uh
So
huh.
he was on the show and everything like that, and the neighbor was saying that how much he liked him and he would like to try to date him, or whatever it was, and she thought it was funny. And you can see this dude was uncomfortable, right? So I was like, all right, I think this is like I was like 14 or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, yo, this guy's not gonna make it home. This dude's
Right.
not gonna make it home. I'm looking at this dude's face, like this guy looks like a psychotic. Like you can see this dude is crazy, and he's biting his tongue right now because I'm like, oh, buddy. And guess what? He killed the dude. He killed him. He held back long enough to go back home and killed this dude. I was like, wow. And that was the end of those shows like Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake, all that stuff disappeared. Poof.
Right.
Because they were more of gossip monger attitude than actual speaking to somebody, and
Right.
understanding why is this person a guest? What's the main reason of what's the premise of your show today? Like, why are you having this person on there? What's the actual premise? It's just for shits and giggles. Now that was mainly the show, shits and giggles. It's like Seinfeld, shits and giggles, because I got nothing else to do. Like, all right, cool.
Right.
I mean, I don't like Seinfeld. I find it very boring. And if people like the show, great, that's you. But I'm more of a Married with Children guy.
I
I
like them
like
both.
violence. I like violence. And Seinfeld, as a person, I was watching over his son's bar mitzvah, and he rented out the whole club and everything like that. It was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is super nice. He
He
does
is.
not disrespect you. And that I was like, all right, I don't like your comedy. I don't like your show. But you as a person, I'm glad you're this cool, man. Like you just show people that yeah, I deserved everything I earned. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, man, because like you don't always get that. You'll meet people and you're like, wow, how are you still popular or relevant in any way? Like I met, I don't like rap, but I met like a rapper here and there, and there's like two of them where I was like, wow, you guys do not deserve to be in the limelight, man. Because I did listen to some of their music because I'm like, oh, some of it's kind of catchy, and total disrespectful towards me, and all I wanted to do was just like meet them and talk to them for like a little bit, and then they just disrespected me. And I'm like, yo, you lucky I'm not making you eat your ass right now. I'm gonna bend you to a pretzel so hard that your head's ain't gonna be in your ass. But I they got lucky because there was always somebody there that knew me, and then had me pulled to the side like, yo, calm down, bro. It's cool. Don't worry about it. I'm like, yo, I don't like that. That's disrespectful. I don't do that to you guys or anybody else. Like, look, I'm not a fan of your music. I told rappers this. I'm not a fan of your music or anything like that. But if you're a good person, I'll be a fan of you as a person. And there was a basketball player who was like, yo, I respect that. I like that a lot. I didn't know he was a basketball player. And, he's like, yo, I play for, the, what do you say, Miami Suns. And I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, okay, that's cool, bro. Like, I don't watch sports. I don't like sports. And he was like, wow, you don't like this music, you don't like this, but you just care about if the person's cool. Yeah, that's very important. And it's the same thing in the comic book world, man. Like, if you guys want to meet let's say, your favorite artist or your favorite writer or whatever, you're going to run into a few that are going to be like that. So just be mindful, like how they say, don't meet your heroes. It's kind of true, but lately that's not necessarily the norm now. The norm is most likely like, yo, thank you for being a fan. If it wasn't for you, I want to be where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
But I met a writer and art/artist, and my wife met him too, and she did not like him at all. She was like, "What?" And he came up when I was talking to the creator of Savage Dragon. The creator of Savage Dragon is a really cool dude, and he
Mm-hmm.
kind of looks like the guy who played Swamp Thing,
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Derek Meir. He looks kind of like Derek Meir. If you guys are wondering, the guy did not have that look before, but since he went bald, he has kind of that look now, and he's that tall. And I don't want to brutalize his name because sometimes I mess up his name, but he's a really nice guy. And Savage Dragon had a cartoon as well, which was actually pretty cool. So you're just in there. Like I told him, yeah, I used to watch the USA cartoon, and he was like, no way. Like he had this look, like, wow, do you actually know? And I started laughing. I was like, how people not know this if they're a fan of you as the comic book writer, plus the fact that you had a show. The cartoon lasted, I think, 2 seasons. Let me see,
Yeah, about 2, 3
two
seasons.
seasons. But it was cool though. I actually liked it. They made him interesting. Uh, Eric Larson. I think it's Larson, Larsen, right? Larson.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That's how I'll
yeah.
pronounce it. That's how I'll pronounce it.
I hope that's how you pronounce it. I mean, for all I know. Whoa, what? Ah, damn. But yeah, he was that cool. And he's one of those guys that you hope would be that cool. And
All right.
just goes to show, man, like sometimes when you go to Comic Con, you'll meet one or two
Me,
people
yeah,
here and there that are that cool. And then other ones are like, oh, well, I don't want to meet you at all.
yeah.
But he signed the special edition book that he had there. And I was like, yo, I like this book. Can you sign this? He was like, absolutely. And I bought it right on the spot. I was
Right.
like, man, that's cool.
Well,
But
yeah.
he's still telling it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I like about this whole DC fandom is that it's Warner Brothers is the one that's saying they're doing it. So that means that this is probably a way for them. It's a grab. I mean, if we think about it, it's a grab, but it's a free virtual experience. So we're going to be sitting back and we're going to be basically getting the same package if you're paying like the $200-300 package. So that I really like that. They're making that all free. I love that. That means that, in my personal opinion, they're trying to appease and apologize for everything that happened throughout this whole 2 freaking year nonsense we had with the Snyder Cut, with the Justice League. So they're making this completely open for everybody. I'm reading this right now. They're saying that it's accessible for 24 hours. So we got to go to dcfandom.com. Um, and it's going to be a massive global experience throughout the DC multiverse. So they're probably going to make some talks about the DC Dark Universe. They might make some talks about the DC comic books, games, films, TV. One of the biggest things that people want to know right now is the new Suicide Squad versus Justice League game done by Rocksteady. Um, I hope they have a trailer. If they have a trailer, that's going to blow it's going to blow the internet flat. If they announce they're going to bring another Batman game, that's going to destroy the internet. Flat, flat.
Yeah, like I'm always excited for a new Batman game. Like, look, the
Yeah,
Spider-Man game was fun. It was great,
yeah.
but not like the Batman games. It's pretty
No.
close though. But I'm like, all right, the Batman game. I sat there and pretty much beat the whole thing on one run, Arkham City. But there
Uh
was so
huh.
much of it that I was stuff I wanted to do that I was like, you know what? Let me hold back and go back and get the stuff before it's too late.
Right.
But I
Um.
had Kevin sign my game.
Oh, nice.
Dude, so obviously, I'm never going to play it again.
Right. Yeah, you could because you can get it on Steam. um.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. So they're gonna have the cast, creators of the films and the TV series from Aquaman, Batman, Batwoman, Black Adam, Black Lightning, the DC superhero girls, which is good because they for the little kids. DC's Legend Tomorrow, DC Stargirl, which is gonna get some good boom. Um, Doom Patrol, which is gonna get some good boom. I haven't watched this last season. I've been
Neither did
extremely
I.
busy, but I'm gonna sit down and watch it. The Flash, I'm gonna give up on that show. Harley Quinn, yeah, I
I
know, right?
gave up on it on season 3. I was like, I'm done. It lasted
Uh,
longer than the others, so I'll tell you that.
the Harley Quinn show, I'm probably not gonna watch that one. Um, but they're gonna talk about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. They're gonna talk about Lucifer. So I think Lucifer's in its final season now. The new show Pennyworth, which I don't know why. Uh, I think the movie Shazam, Suicide Squad, Supergirl, Superman and Lois. That's the new Superman TV show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's the dude who did Supergirl and the Lois
Oh,
from that.
I'm already
Yeah, I'm not
done. It's
watching.
over.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
watching
over.
it either. Teen Titans Go. I cannot believe that's around, still around. But
Why
hey,
is
it's
that
for the
still a
kids.
thing, man?
It's for the little kids.
You mean 4 year
Titans.
olds?
Yeah, pretty much. Titans, Watchmen, Young Justice Outsiders. Young Justice Outsiders is going to probably be the one that everyone's going to want to look for because the last season was phenomenal. No, it was good. It wasn't as good as the last couple of seasons, but it's everyone getting back into the mix of things. It wasn't going to come out of nowhere and just start breaking down doors. It was getting the old fans back and getting new fans back. So the storylines were not bad. I really liked it, and the season finale was mind blowing. I really was I really liked it. They went. It was basically the whole season was about Granny Goodness, and I was really happy about that. I'm sorry if I spoiled anything, but you guys should watch it. Young Justice Outsiders was really good. It was all about Granny Goodness. You barely even saw Darkseid. You barely saw freaking Vandal Savage. And I'm already putting stuff together about what they're going to be doing with this whole situation. But I think the next season they might start hinting more that Wally's going to come back. So I'm hoping that they do, but I hope they don't do it where it's going to be stupid. I hope they make it where it makes sense, because they're making it where Tigress or Artemis, or I forgot the girl's real name, but that she's
Well,
starting to move
Artemis
on.
is her.
Yeah, that is her name. I'm sorry, Artemis. That is
Yeah,
her real name.
I was about to say, I was like,
Yeah.
Artemis is her name. Her sister is the
Um,
one that goes by a different name, and who is
yeah.
with
Roy at the time. Roy.
Roy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
The
have this shit
clone.
already in the show, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they made it where it was the clone. It's the clone, not the real Roy Harper, which is
That's
fine.
stupid. I
It's
mean,
fine because
that kid's
now,
gonna melt. Don't,
um,
come on, man. Like, don't give me that. Like, I hate that because that means the genetic template is ruined. That kid is not gonna live longer than maybe 20. Like, you really think about it, man. Like,
okay, you're
clones
overthinking it. You're overthinking it, man. I'm not gonna
this
overthink it,
no,
because
but
that
this
version,
cartoon stuff. This is not the comic book stuff. This is the cartoon garbage. Like I don't understand that. And then him losing his arm and then becoming Arsenal, I think that's good because the heroin addiction that he had, it ruined his arm to a point where it would have started ruining and rotting his body. Like it was bad.
okay,
Like this is why I think like him getting it because that was the arm where he used to inject a lot and it was starting to rot. Maybe that's why he couldn't use the bow as much and he had a harder time. It was starting to, eat into his DNA, like his blood and all that stuff. And then having his arm blown off, it just basically it saves his life really, because people don't understand like how toxic drugs really are.
well,
So,
this version of the in this thing, the version of Roy did not have no heroin addiction. So the only
yeah,
one that
but I
so
mean that's I think they were paying homage to the fact that homie used to be addicted to drugs. So I think they just kind of anybody who like us read comics and stuff like that knows a serious thing. Like Green Arrow is not a good mentor at all, and he should not be around children. So yeah. What happened to that kid? Last time I remember, he was addicted to drugs. Really?
um
What'd you do to him? It's like you didn't,
um
Michael Jackson him, did you?
oh boy, I don't want to get into that.
Rich and
Okay,
eccentric
so
past.
all right. Then also they're going to talk about Wonder Woman in 1984.
God,
I think
that's funny that got messed up too. Like, what is that going to be in HBO? Probably Max release. You pay
here's
like
the thing.
$10.
I truly think that they're going to announce what they're going to do at Fandom, because this movie should have been out a month ago, and then they
Yeah,
announced that it was supposed to come out this month, but now they're pushing it even further. So it's like, dude, okay, when is this movie going to come out? Because now you're going to run the risk of people not giving a crap. So either
I mean,
put it
I've
on
already got that
Fandom,
point.
put it out on Fandom, and I'm sorry, put it out on HBO Max. Let everybody watch this dang movie, and get hyped up. Because right
Or
now, what?
Disney is they're doing their streaming service, right? Artemis Fowl was free on there, right?
Yep.
So Artemis Fowl is actually a good movie. If you guys had a chance to see it, cool. If not, and you don't have the DC streaming service, just do the 7 day thing. Binge watch all of Mandalorian and watch Artemis Fowl, and then cancel. And that's it. That's all you need to do. It's over. And but with Mulan, I think they're making people pay like almost $20 just to watch
Yeah.
this movie on their
Yeah.
streaming service. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah. Why?
that's intense, man. Like this movie's
That's
not
stupid.
worth that.
Yeah.
Like you guys already got rid of the dragon. I mean, alone tells me you didn't care about the cartoon itself. So we are done. We are so done. I don't care that Jet Li's in this movie. I love Jet Li, but this movie, he did it for his kids. He didn't do it for his fans. He did it for his real fans, his blood. So I respect that. But he's probably not going to be in the movie that much, and it's not worth the money that you're asking for. I'm sorry, Disney. You ruined a lot of movies as it is. We're good, but we don't know. Like, hopefully, if HBO Max says, "Hey, look, just have people pay $5 or whatever to see the movie on top of that," because I mean, think about it. When you go to the movie theaters, you're paying $12 anyways. If you're going to a matinee or whatever it is. I mean, it's only fair technically. Like them putting it on there for free is kind of messed up because you're only paying like $8 a month for the service on top of that. Or what's the deal that they give you $5 if you have the DC
Yep.
Universal app?
Yeah,
So
$5, 4.99
it's like
on
eight
top.
bucks if you're just going with them, or 10 or something like that, and then five if you're already with the DC service. But think about it, man. It's kind of fair if they say, hey, in order for you to watch this, you got to pay X amount, which is like, I would say about $10 or whatever. It seems to be pretty fair because you're at home. You're at home. So you, you got to understand that it's something that they already made to be in theaters to make money. And how are they going to make money if they're just going to hand it to us? So hopefully they'll tell us something that is not outrageous price. Like Mulan is not worth the money they're asking for. I was never going to see it in theaters. I don't know anybody that would have probably saw it in theaters except for my friend that's in New York that has a little girl. But I would rather have her watch the cartoon and not this live action movie. I'm sorry, it's just not worth it. And it's loosely based on some people in history. Like, it's just, I don't know. It That amount of money that they're asking for, Disney is just being greedy. Well, Disneyland's not open, Disney World's not open, so we're just gonna rape you for the cash. I'm like, all right, whatever. But hopefully we get the news like, hey, you guys just have to pay $10 if you want to watch Wonder Woman, or if they decide to put out uh, the Flash or something like that, like they planned in the first place. We never know. We don't know how far they got with it, but a fee like that is not too bad because we can't go to theaters anymore. So there you go. Like, it's one of those things that we can't be too mad about.
Yeah. Well, we have to see. Me personally, if you're already paying for the HBO Max, I think HBO Max is like 14. I think it's
As for
14. Well,
yeah,
no. If you just want to get it, like how HBO Go
yeah.
when your
HBO
mother
Go was
paid
ten
for it,
dollars though.
yeah, it was
It
ten
was
bucks.
10.
So I think that Max is going to be probably around 14 because they're
Oh,
get.
that's not too bad.
I think they're getting rid of HBO now, and they're merging it with. So they're going to try to merge everything in the HBO Max, so you're not having to pay an extra fee just to get HBO Max. We already had something like this, so I think they're getting
Well,
rid of
think
things. They're
about
making
it.
it for 15, which is fine. Um, which is fine. I think I think honestly
The
that
better
that's a
deal.
fair price. Yeah, I think that's a very
Still
fair price.
better because you get all their shows on demand. Like, I've used the app a couple times, and I gave you access to be able to use, it, and it was pretty neat. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how you watched Game of Thrones at the time. I didn't watch
Mm-hmm.
it. I was too busy catching up on other shows like Boardwalk Empire and stuff like that. More interesting shows to me. Like, I watched a little bit of Game of Thrones, and I was like, eh. Like, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm not. It's not my deal. Like, a lot of incest and stuff like that. It's not my thing. Like, my family's Latino, and like, we grew up. That was disgusting. So I was not into it. That was me, and there wasn't the type of violence that I like in it. Like The Witcher, like, reading the books and everything like that. And the show wasn't bad. It was kind of, a little all over the place. But if I didn't read the books or play the games, I'd have been like, "What is this?" Yeah, it's cool, but I don't know where they're going with this. It was very all over the place. But that's because I've already read the books and I already played the games. I never beat part three because I moved quite a bit, so never got to finish it. But that show was more interesting to me than Game of Thrones. Like homies going around like I just want to be left alone, but also want to be able to go into town without you guys trying to challenge me, knowing that I could kill you. Like this is stupid. But it shows you how dumb society is. Homie is a superhero, but you're going to try to kill him anyways. Cool. And you're shocked that he beat you and chopped you up and punched your brain into your ass. All right, cool. So, but that shows how society is, though. It's like if we had a Superman today, people would be dumb enough to try to stop him. Why? That's stupid. Especially if they're trying to help you, it's just idiotic. And there was something else that was coming up for us too. Oh, sidetrack superhero wise, did you watch Project Power?
No, I have no time to watch it.
Oh, it was actually pretty good. I liked it. So I
Mm.
was, I mean, first of all, Jamie Foxx. I was like, all right, I'm intrigued. Then I saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I was like, hold up, I like this guy as an actor too. So perfect. It was. I liked the premise of it. I liked that the pill gives you power for 5 minutes, and that was the trailer. I'm not going to tell you the movie because it is worth watching. So if anybody who hasn't seen it, it came on HBO on Friday. It was good. Like it was. I feel better than a lot of the superhero movies that we've been getting from Marvel. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me. Like, oh, Marvel puts out quality movies. No, they don't. They do not. A quality movie. Uh, Actually, Punisher with Thomas Jane has more quality than a lot of the movies that was put out by Marvel. So really think about that. It had an intense story. It stuck to the story. He was actually a phenomenal Frank slash Punisher. But Power has an interesting palate cleanser for us to wash away the bitter taste of Marvel. And it falls in line in the feels of almost like a DC story. Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know, but it was interesting. So it has an appeal. So hopefully people watch it, and hopefully you end up liking it yourself. But I'm done for now. Go ahead, dude.
All right. Hold on. All right. So going back to the Fandom, um, basically she said that there is there is no fan like a DC fan. And for more than 85 years, the world has turned DC inspired heroes and stories and lift us up and entertain us in this massive, immersive digital event that will give everyone new ways to personalize their journey through the DC universe without lines. So that means that all the stuff that I was talking about with like TV shows and everything, they're not going to have it where you have to sit through and go, man, I don't care about this TV show. Can we get to the movie? No, there's an area where you go straight and get all the movie stuff. So you go straight over here and get all the movie stuff. You want to know what's going on in the TV shows? You go over here. If you want to know about the kids stuff, you go over here. I think I really like that. I think that honestly, this is probably going to be the new way they're going to do. In some ways, this is how they're going to do Comic Cons now, if you really think about it. Because then you say, okay, well, I don't have to worry about this smelly geek who didn't take a shower standing out in the middle of freaking 100-degree weather, and I'm doing the same thing, and I got to smell this dude's BO and stand in the line, and he's sitting there goofing off, and I'm sitting there waiting for this dude to start walking, and I don't want to have to punch his head and make him look like a freaking rock'em sock'em robot. So I'd rather stay at home, get the same type of emissive event, and go where I want to go and get my stuff. The only reason why I mean, even if I wanted to go to a Comic Con, I'd rather get like the merch, like look at comic books or like figures and such like that. Stand in line for like a Hall H when I know that I'm probably gonna be so far back, everyone's face is gonna look like a freaking dot. I'm good. I don't want to do all that. That's a waste of money to me, and I have to spend an extra $100 more
Yeah.
just to get further up, so I can actually be able to look at some of the movie stars or the TV stars and such like that. So I think that this fandom is probably going to be an experimental for a lot of for even DC and Marvel, for them to say, okay, you know what, maybe we can do this on for certain cons, and this could actually work more in Marvel's favor. Hate to say that, because they're under under Disney's label. So like D23, the Disney emissive con that they do, they don't have to have it over in their main, wherever they have it. They can actually do it at home, and they can do it through
Yeah.
their and they can do it through Disney Plus. You get all the emissive stuff. You can go wherever the heck you want, and you get all this other stuff, and then you're probably gonna be paying an X amount of money anyway.
Well, yeah. Well,
So
here's the funny part that you mentioned that they do that, and they put it on Disney Plus. How much you want to bet they're still going to charge you
yeah, that's
to
what I'm saying. They're
do
going,
it?
uh-huh.
Like, wow, Disney just doesn't give up. They're pulling the hairs on your balls. No, not your balls. Your brown eye. All right, and they're pulling it, and you're sitting there thinking, should I let the bile go, or should I hold it in and endure the pain? No, man, let it go. Put it all over them because they're greedy. Like, what the hell? Like, come on, Disney, relax. Like, you guys bought out some of the best things that we have in this world, and you ruined it. So, yeah, don't act like you did a good thing with Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah, chill out with that. You guys didn't do a good thing. You actually made it worse. You're actually proving Spielberg theory right. That you're not paying attention to the fact that this man makes quality films. I actually don't know a Steven Spielberg movie that I don't like. I think everything he's done, I could sit there and watch and be like, yeah, this is pretty good. Now I might not want to own all of them, but I can actually sit there and be like, wow. And if you guys don't know, Indiana Jones, man, this dude put out Indiana Jones with George Lucas. They
Mm-hmm.
wrote it together. So you're sitting there going, well, I don't think he made every movie quality. Yes, he did. Indiana Jones was the start of it all to really push him. And then he came out with other movies, and you're sitting there like, wow, this guy's like really good.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay, not as the same level as James Cameron though. James Cameron makes better movies. I don't care what anybody says, dude. James Cameron beats his own records. He beat out Star Wars with a love story. That I mean, Star Wars is a love story too, but a love story that had no real happy ending. I mean,
Huh.
come on. There was no happy ending. You died in frozen water. Bye bye. And then he came out with another movie years later and destroyed that record twice over. And now we're still waiting to see the second movie. Like, there's gonna be four of them, and we're kind of looking at it like, I don't think we're ever gonna see these movies
Mm-mm.
because his whole plan was to make these really awesome movie theaters where you don't need to wear glasses. You could sit there and watch a 3D movie with just the strength of your own eyes without it hurting you, hopefully, because cerebral situations can happen. That's probably why he was testing it first, because he invented a 3D camera on top of that. This dude is beyond. Like James Cameron, you give him a comic book movie, dude, the guy's making billions, bro. I'm just telling you. But yeah, I see Disney ripping us off and proving Spielberg right. I mean, he has the right to say that this movie's not good or these stories are going to just disappear and look like a tumbleweed in the desert. And
Mm-hmm.
Disney's proving that. While meanwhile, we got uh, DC quality movies like The Joker, who's trying to prove him wrong that we will have intense stories and that are showing social angst and what society can do to somebody. And then we got other movies that are fun, like Shazam, they're proving him wrong, while Disney is proving him right. It's kind of hard, man. It's like a double-edged sword. Like you got one side making it harder for these movies to do what they feel is right for the story. Like Aquaman is another one that proved it's possible to have one superhero make $1 billion, or one villain make $1 billion who wasn't really a villain in the movie, but ended up forcing him to be the villain, then you just ended up liking him for it. He's like probably the most beloved villain of all time, really, if you think about it. So I hope that DC keeps going where they're going. I hope we get some awesome news during this fandom for next Saturday, and
Yeah.
that keep putting movies like this out because they're proving Spielberg wrong on the quality films that they're putting out. Like if they keep doing that, Marvel's gonna fall apart. Everybody's like, "Well, Marvel's gonna stay strong." No, they will not. They will
No.
not stay strong because everybody said that about rock and roll. Rock and roll will never die. It almost did because we had all these '80s hair bands and one-hit wonders, and they practically killed rock and roll. And then you had rap come out of nowhere, and then we still got stuck with it, and we're still stuck with really horrible music today because the rock stars in the '80s were horrible. There was only a handful of them that are still around today that were actually awesome, but they were so below the one-hit wonders and hairband guys that we got screwed. And that's what it is. That's what DC's going through right now. DC's going through that situation. They're being overshadowed by popcorn eating audiences that don't understand that, hey, we just want quality and we want these movies to be 20 years from now and you guys will still enjoy it. So
All
you
right.
need to understand that. Like, this DC is doing everything they can right now. And hopefully we get a bunch of good news with
Mm-hmm.
their streaming service, with their video games, especially because we know Montreal took over the Batman franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still WB, but it's like Montreal, and they had a different story, like
Well,
his
the
edition
Montreal,
stuff. Over.
Montreal. If you understand, what happened was is when Arkham City came out. If you want to go into Batman, the Arkham Universe games,
Well,
anybody out there
City.
doesn't want to know. Basically, what happened was Rocksteady was what was burnt out. They were burnt out, and they basically wanted to do something else. So
Well,
they
that makes
wanted
no
to
sense because
they no they wanted to end the game there. They wanted to end the game with Arkham City, the death of the Joker, done. That's how they wanted to end it. What happened was is that WB was like WBDC was like, hey, wait a minute. They said we're done. We're done. We don't want to do anymore. So they created Arkham Origins. They gave it to
right,
Montreal,
Montreal,
and
yeah,
and it wasn't a bad game, but you could tell that there were some things missing. Um, I
yeah.
love that. I love what was it? Troy Baker did a phenomenal job with the Joker's voice.
That
He
was
did
our
a
first introduction too.
yeah, that was the first introduction to the Arkham Joker, and his voice was so close to Mark Hamill's. It blew everyone's mind. It blew Mark Hamill's mind. There is a video out there where Troy Baker did his voice in front of Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's like, "Holy, all right," he's like, all right, "Wow," and then
Shake your kid.
yeah, but the thing
Retired
is
happy.
but the thing is that Troy Baker was so good, he was actually able to do Batman's voice to the
Yeah,
point where it was almost close to I'm sorry, to Kevin
Kevin.
Conroy's.
Yeah.
And it blew everyone's mind again. He was able to do both their voices, hit the pitch. It was a little off. You could tell it was a little off, but that's only because going
He,
from going from Mark Hamill's Joker, which was very squeaky, to a very deep monotone Kevin Conroy, you're gonna lose something there. But it was close. It was really good. So I'm sorry, Troy Baker was really good at that, and the way they wrote that joke, the way they wrote how Joker and Batman's relationship grew in that was really good. But people were like, the combat was just what the hell and this and that. And so what happened is that the I believe the creator, the owner of Rocksteady went into talks with DC WB, and they said, okay, listen, we did it with Montreal. It did not do well. Not to the spark that we wanted. Can you come back and just do one last game and that's it? The guy said, okay. and that's how he got Arkham Knight.
Like, don't get lazy. Like, Rocksteady was like, we're done making these games. You made crappy games for years. I don't care what anybody says. Grand Theft Auto is some garbage games. They made these games kind of like how people just flood the industry with first person shooters. That's what they were doing with this. And I'm like, this is disgusting. This is annoying. The graphics are garbage. The story's garbage. Like, I tried playing some of these games. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like, the story is not something that just grasps you into the game and make you feel like you're immersed. No, you're not immersed. You're just like, okay, I'm going to go rob this guy. I'm going to go find this hooker. I'm gonna gain some health. Then I'm gonna go out there and kill some random people until the cops come after me. Maybe I could get the National Guard after me. You know, like, really? Come on, you had a hard time making a quality game, and you only made two. Relax. Like, don't act like, well, I can't continue making quality games. That's lazy. Don't do that. Don't act like you're the king of the hill. You're not. There's other companies that make better games than you. You finally made a quality game, and then you're getting lazy. That annoyed me with them. Like Montreal, you know, and I'm glad because they were happy for the opportunity and they wanted to continue, but it didn't work out. It happens. And then we did get Arkham Knight, and Arkham Knight, it was a good game, but don't say you're gonna stop. That makes no sense. I don't want money, is what you said, because these games made way more money than all your freaking Grand Theft Auto games. I'm sorry, and there was just three of these games, and it made more money. It put you guys in the what is it called, the black, when it comes to, is it the black or red? No, black,
Red.
when it comes to money, right? So you're sitting there like up there now because of these games. Why? Because the Grand Theft Auto games can never be on that level. Never. The world loves Batman. You had that, and then you just decided to take a nice soft serve all over that. Man, you guys make no sense to me. I don't understand this industry sometimes. Like, when it comes to video games, that's stupid. Give it to, even though they're busy making God of War games, but give it to Santa Monica. I'm sure we'll get an amazing game better than Rocksteady. I'm telling you. You give them that, it's over. Because you got Rockstar that makes, was it Red Dead, right? They make Red Dead. Is it
Yeah,
Red Dead? Rockstar?
Rocksteady does. Yeah, Rocksteady does Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, so that game is interesting, but you know what it is? It's the Wild West GTO. Oh, no way. Who would have thought? You made a different version of the game that you made before, but in the desert. Great. I want to play this. Even though my friend is a voice actor and everything for one of the main characters, but I told him, I'm like, I don't want to play Grand Theft in the desert. He's like, well, I'm like, dude, it's Grand Theft. He started playing it, and he looked at me, he was like, you suck. I'm like, it's literally that. I'm going to steal this horse and run around and randomly kill people. What? Same thing. I'm going to go grave robbing. That's interesting. But it's the same game, but in the Wild West version. That's it. All right, cool. Great. Fantastic. Let's add zombies. Okay. Whatever. They went back to making low quality games after the Batman games, and I just find that as an insult to us as gamers on top of that, not just comic book lovers. So give it to like somebody like, you know, Santa Monica or somebody that, or even Insomniac who did Spider-Man. You know, give them a chance. I know they're already doing Marvel, which kind of sucks because I think they might be locked down on Marvel now.
Mm-hmm.
But if they weren't, they would be a good choice as an option. And I hope, you know, there's another company out there that wants to give us awesome Batman games again, because I really like the Batman games. I just want a company to get a chance that go, hey, look, I know we can make this game, and I hope that we can do better than the last one that you guys had. So maybe we'll get lucky with that. But yeah, the other company just got lazy.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
All right. So, without having to go on another tangent. All right. So, Um, they split it out. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they got 5 different unique areas. They got the DC Watchverse, the DC Uverse, the DC Kidverse, the DC Insiderverse, and the DC Funverse. So, the Watchverse, it looks like it's what they're saying is here's where you grab a seat, sit back, and join a virtual audience, and become completely engrossed in hours of must-see content from around the world. Everything from panels and exclusive screenings to never-before-seen footage featuring cast, creators, and behind-the-scenes crew across the DC films, TV, home entertainment, and games. So that's probably where the big thing is going to be at.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds like it should be a lot of the information coming from that.
um, the DCU verse venture into this world where fans are the stars to see the most amazing user-generated content, cosplay, fan art from around the world, including perhaps your own. Okay, so that's interactive between cosplayers and such like that. That might be interesting for people who like to cosplay.
I mean,
Kit. Mm-hmm.
yeah, for us, we don't do that, but it's just like something will look like real quick, like, well, let's go back to getting to find out what movies and games that we're gonna get. That's for
Um.
you.
Um. The DC Kids verse. Well, that's explainable.
Yeah. Teen
Um.
Titans
If you.
Go. Cool. Have a nice day.
All right. Um. Oh wow. Oh. Okay. All right. So the Insider verse. This creativity-based world contains a centerpiece video featuring legendary artists and DC CCO and publisher Jim Lee, president of DC-based film production. Oh, president of DC Film Production, Walter Hamada, and the creator of the DC TV Arrowverse, Greg Berlanti. Oh, you can move that offside. Welcoming
Yeah.
fans to 101 style introduction to the DC multiverse. From here, go behind the scenes with master artisans who bring DC to life in all forms, from comic books to games, TV, movies, theme parks, consumer products, and more. So that might be another one that they're gonna do. They're just gonna show off some things.
Jim Lee, especially for me. I almost had a chance to meet him, but shit happens.
No, I want to shake Walter Hamada's hand because, okay, if, making this quick about the Snyder Cut, we have to. A lot of us should want to shake Walter Hamada's hand because from a lot of the rumors, I'm not going to say it's official when what I'm about to say, it was rumors that when all this started to go down and they got Jeff Johns out of the way and they put Walter Hamada in charge of all the DC based products, it was rumored that he heard about the Snyder Cut and actually wanted to see it. He was behind this. He wanted the Snyder Cut. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon, which boggles my mind even today. And they kept saying, "Well, why didn't he try to push it? Why didn't he do this?" Listen, he just came from New Line Cinema,
Yep.
and he just got in this big position to basically be, in a way, the Kevin Feige of the
Oh,
DC movies. So he's in charge. He's in charge of all this. You're telling me the first thing he's gonna say is, "Well, I want the Snyder Cut." I'm like, what? No, he needs to prove himself. He needs to prove
yeah,
and have a
yeah, sorry.
plan. Yeah, and his plan was, okay, we got Shazam in the works. Okay, let's get Shazam out. You're working. James Wan is working on Aquaman. Okay, work on that. Let's get this out. The next thing he did was he made movies cheaper to make it so it makes more money,
Yep.
aka Joker.
Oh my God, man, they had such a low budget.
It was such a low budget. That was so freaking smart. Why are you giving the Joker like an $80 million budget? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
well,
That made no
they found
sense.
Joker in some of the most sketchy areas in New York. No, being somebody that lived in New York as long as I did, whoa, bro, like if
Yeah.
you fucking Phoenix, dude, that guy would have been hurt. That
Yeah.
was one of the worst neighborhoods, legit neighborhoods that you were
And
like, why are
and
you
then
coming here
yeah, and then there were people filming the scene where Joaquin Phoenix was
on the
jumping down
stairs?
the stairs,
Yeah,
and they had to go, "Hey, can you hold that, please? Because you're gonna spoil a scene." You know what people said? Sure. They held the scene and they put it away. The moment that movie came out,
that's
weeks
what
later, they put it out. They said, "We saw this. Hey, look." That's
That's
awesome.
a funny thing too, because the people who lived in that neighborhood were nice, but
Yeah.
the neighborhood when you're out away from the apartment buildings and you're out on the streets at night, the people who don't live in those neighborhoods are the ones that make the neighborhoods bad. So that's one thing I got to explain is that the people who live there are actually cool because why they're trying to survive. New York is not an easy place to live in. So you got people outside of the neighborhood. You might have one or two that actually live in the neighborhood, making
Mm-hmm.
it worse and making it hard for people to do things like film movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they had a lot of cops watching over them too, which is good. But the
Yeah.
neighborhood became safer because you got outside sources coming into the neighborhood because they know these people are depressed
Mm-hmm.
and feeling like they've been beaten down. And that's why you got that vibe so well in that surrounding area about how he was in the movie. That's why it
Mm-hmm.
fits so well because it was literally that type of neighborhood that is actually like that. And it wasn't a movie feel. That was literally the neighborhood. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at this neighborhood going, dang, you feel bad for these people. Why? Because that's really what's going on. It is hard. People want help, forget it.
Yeah.
It's like the New York saying, forget about it. Like it's okay, let it go. No, you can't let it go. That's why everybody decided to film it there because it was a real neighborhood that was going through that, and that's what it probably made it a little bit easier for him to go into the character of Arthur
Mm-hmm.
Fleck because the neighborhood was legitimately hard to be around. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just felt like your life was just draining from you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what am I going to do? Is this the right thing? Should I be like this? And then he ends up becoming kind of schizophrenic out of nowhere. And then, what you thought was one thing, obviously you knew it wasn't. But then you start thinking about, well, maybe this guy can get a break. No, things got worse.
Yeah.
Like this poor guy. But that neighborhood is legitimately soul sucking. Like just bad. But the people were nice, and
Yeah.
that's the messed up part. Like you still got nice people. I lived in some pretty scummy areas, and we were still pretty nice about it. My wife and I. And
Mm-hmm.
I was still working in the city and trying to just get by, and it just got worse and worse. And then look what happened. Sniffle virus just kind of taking people out left and right,
Right.
and we're out of that state now. But it's crazy how well that neighborhood worked, and plus the
Oh.
stairs of death.
Right.
Those
So
those stairs are intense.
yeah. Okay. So but everyone needs to realize that Walter Hamada, if it wasn't for Walter Hamada's game plan and saying, "Hey, you know what? Let's play this. Let's play this game," because he understood that okay, there must have been some crap going on. He was there when Kevin Zuchihara finally left, and Toby Emmerich was supposed to be the next guy. But you haven't heard much about him. I think they pretty much told him to go put yourself in a closet and go away. They probably put him on
Yeah,
other projects. They kept him away from the DC stuff. I think that they're doing some smart plans, but we should all thank Walter Hamada because if he didn't take the reins and say, "Hey, you know what? This is my game plan. I'm gonna make these movies cheap and try to make more money off of cheaper, not quote unquote cheap, but not put so much money into something that makes absolutely no sense. Let's make sense with the
he,
money."
he wants to do a Clint Eastwood. So Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood would do low budget,
Mm-hmm.
pocket the rest. Yeah, he
Yeah,
pockets.
yeah, yeah. That's the word. Maximize his profits
Yeah, so he
because
makes so much
like
money from that. Don't never say no to him now.
yeah, that's the thing. So um, Aquaman. If they say Aquaman was 120 million dollars or 150 million dollars, it makes sense. You're doing something CGI of the dude trying to talk underwater. You can't do that from. You gotta make it look realistic. So it makes sense. But
Yeah, it
a
almost made
ground,
sense, right?
yeah,
Like it was very
yeah.
close.
Yeah, and I mean, what was it? But something like Arthur Fleck, which is a very grounded sub-base movie. Why are
No
you
powers.
throwing? Yeah, why would you? Well, yeah, why would you throw like $80 million at this? It makes no sense. That's the reason why.
You should be fired if you did that.
Yeah,
You
you should be
should be
fired. What
fired.
the hell are you doing?
But you should.
Shazam, yeah, Shazam made sense. It was $80 million. That makes sense.
That's cheap, though.
That's
Okay,
cheap.
that like think about that. That is freaking cheap.
Cheap.
80 million.
Yeah, 80 million. And you saw how he made the CGI graphics, how he was able to do the visual graphics and showing that they're flying in the air and everything else without making it look like he's on a rope. He did a really good job with that, and he did it off of $8 million. That is stupid. That is dumb. So
My
don't.
favorite flight scene from that is when Billy runs off the roof and goes Shazam, and you see the cloud, and he just boom, boom, and he's gone. I was
Yeah,
like,
he's gone.
that was
That's
so
awesome.
man. Like that
Yeah.
was like, kid, you deserve this power, bro. You
Yeah,
figured it
he
out.
did a
Look what
damn.
you
Yeah,
did.
he
That
did
was
a
awesome.
he did. Sandberg did a really good job with it, and he did with $80 million. Now, people are saying, well, he could have done a lot more with more money. Yeah, but it wouldn't have made no sense.
He knew that
It would
though.
have been CGI. It would have been a CGI F fest if he had more money. He
Well,
did. He worked with what he had.
most of that money actually went to getting some of the actors though.
Yeah,
Mark Strong and you got
Zachary
John
Levy.
Glover and Zachary
Uh huh.
Levi. It's not going to be as high, but still a little bit higher than John Glover, obviously.
Mhm.
But you got people that are recognizable in this,
Mhm.
and then you got the forgot the guy's name, but the foster dad who was in Walking Dead.
Mhm.
Recent episodes. He was starting to get popularity. And mind you, this guy's strong. Like if you pay attention, he swings a heavy axe for practice for his role in Walking Dead. I don't know if he's ever going to have a chance to, do other roles besides, but seeing him in a role like this, I hope it gives him another opportunity to
Yeah.
do movies like, imagine Mohana as a live action. That's the dude right there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like the guy is big. He does a lot of physical actions in The Walking Dead and everything like that. Like I could see him getting a chance because of that, but you had to probably pay a decent amount of money to be able to pull him away from The Walking Dead, though, because I believe his character's still on the show.
Hmm.
So I don't watch the show anymore. I can't say, you guys can tell me if he lived in the show or not.
Oh.
But
I hate zombie apocalypse. Sorry.
yeah,
Um.
some of them are okay. I mean, George A. Romero movies, great, because it wasn't a zombie apocalypse thing at first.
No.
It started off as a messed up story, and then the '80s ones I'm cool with. The more recent ones, except for Schneider's Dawn of the Dead, which was, I'm sorry, like a zombie running faster than me. This sucks. This really
Right.
sucks. I'm not afraid. I'm just pissed. I'm like, how are you more athletic and you're dead? How is this possible? How did you get super strength? How are you able to bite through steel? What the? So if you die, you become superhuman? Like I'm confused. Shouldn't you be decaying right now? Shouldn't your freaking spine just fall apart on you? Like, how are you outrunning me? That's, yeah, Schneider, you psycho.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's a
freaking
fucking.
crazy.
He's a
But
psycho, man. All
God,
right.
man.
So All right. So again, I want to wrap it up. But Walter Hamada, we should thank him. Flat. That's
I'm
how
not,
I
I got
see it.
nothing against the guy. I like I would never compare him to the debacle from Marvel though, because he's doing better.
Yeah, he's being smart with the money, and he's
Uh,
not. So, but a lot of people were sitting there saying that, and I said, dude, we need to give the guy a chance, and he did a really good job. So, and also he's hiring people. Part of the DC, part of his whole DC group, a lot of them are coming from New Line Cinema, which is owned by WB. It's a subsidiary, and it's made tons and tons of freaking money. The last movie that made them a ton of money was, I don't know, It. It made them a lot of damn money, and it was dirt cheap. It was dirt cheap.
yeah, that was extra low budget too.
That was an extremely low budget movie. It was almost a Bloomberg House level money. That's
Well, the
stupid.
thing is, too, the Skarsgård liked the idea of practical
Yeah.
makeup and effects because it showed that he could still be acting in it. He wasn't going to be CGI'd to death and
Uh
not
huh.
be acting in it. Like the CGI stuff was obviously the mouse stuff and the lights and stuff like that, but Like a lot of the stuff where he grew bigger and the arms got longer and stuff, that was him. So he obviously enjoyed the practical effects, which was
Mm-hmm.
actually cheaper than doing the CGI, and it showed more of his acting prowess.
Yep.
So I like the idea that they listened to him on that, and it made the movie what it is now.
Well, I mean,
It,
I think it was also Andy. I think it's more Andy Musichelli. I don't think he wanted to shove a lot of money into the face. That to him, I believe to him that made absolutely no sense.
but I'm
So
sure that he listened to his actors because Skarsgård is a more of a hands-on actor, though. He learned that from his father. His godfather is Peter Stormare, and
yeah,
we got these two heavyweight Swedish actors out there, and his dad, Stalin is one of those guys that made all these really intense movies. How do you think he learned that? Like Peter Stormare didn't make really intense movies, though. He just kind of made these fun. I'm this character, I'm that character. I'm
he was a
Swedish, but
character
you're
actor. He
Russian.
did a lot. Yeah, he did a lot of character acting.
But I love how you made this joke in an interview where he was like, they asked him, "Can you do a Russian voice?" "Yeah, sure." "Can you do a German voice?" "Yeah, sure." And he was like, it was all one voice, and it reminded me of Howie Mandel.
Yeah,
The character's one voice. I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. So you see him playing Germans, you see him playing Russians, and I'm just looking at it like, this dude's awesome. He's only
right,
using his accent.
right.
He's not changing nothing. That's his voice. That's how he speaks. He's just like, sure, I could sound Russian. This is how I sound when I speak English. It'll pass as Russian, trust me. He'll pass as German. He'll just slightly tweak it. It was so funny, dude. The guy makes money off of his own voice, and they
Right.
play him as characters. But
Yeah,
he
I
learned
think.
from him and his dad, like
Yeah,
because that basically as his godfather, and then you got his father playing these intense movies. Him being intense in it was a no-brainer because
yeah,
I feel he's actually a better actor than his older brother. And his older brother's a nice guy. I like him as an actor,
yeah.
but Alexander, his acting is okay next to Bill. Bill's acting is like really up there. It's really up there.
Um,
I can see him getting an Academy Award one day.
true. Um, so I wanted everyone to get off that whole thing with Walter Hamada. I think we should all thank him for this, and also I think he was one of the big proponents to get the Snyder cut because we didn't even heard him saying, "No, it doesn't exist." He didn't say a word, and that was good. We had other people saying it didn't exist. So I think that when he probably talked to Ann Sarnoff, they probably discussed about what the heck was going on and how big of a movement this is, and and let's be perfectly honest, and I'm gonna be honest with this. Despite how you feel about any levels of sports, I'm not talking to Hawk, but to all the fans out here, to the
Uh,
subscribers out here. But having released the Snyder Cut at a sporting event is huge. It's huge. I don't care. I don't care unless it's a little league game. I mean, who cares? But it was somebody did one at a soccer event, and soccer is big in Europe. It's huge in Europe.
Everywhere but here.
Yeah, it's not that big here,
Everywhere
but
but here.
but but it being at a sporting event was huge because that means that it's not because a lot of people need to remember something. The and Hawk will Hawk will agree on this. American audience members are so freaking fickle. It's stupid. But the world, the rest of the world, if they hear about this Snyder cut and they're like, "Hey, what's going on here?" "Oh, that's what's missing." "Hey, what the heck is going on with this cut?" You get more people outside United States. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of
Yeah.
people that would have paid their money to watch this damn movie.
I have a
So
feeling too that the European audience is the reason why we got the ultimate cut of Watchmen, though,
yeah,
because of the 3.5 hours. That tells you how much of this movie you cut out. An hour and 10 minutes. What?
right.
What just happened? Like, yeah, the European okay, the world audience minus American audience, like you said, the fickle thing makes money for us.
Yeah,
I don't understand it, man. And then the domestic, well, it didn't do good domestic, so we're not going to get a sequel. Hold up, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care that you're making movies for America. If you're just making it for America, don't put it worldwide. If that's your attitude, don't put it worldwide. When you got China and Russia and England and Australia and Germany and all these countries watching these movies and making it $1 billion and up, and then you're gonna sit there, well, it didn't make much here in the States. Fuck you. Then give us a sequel because the world audience matters too. Don't act like the fickle popcorn eating, choking on your soda audience is going to be the almighty audience. They're not, because
They're not.
the intellect of the net is not exactly the brightest of things, is it? So obviously, the
Well,
people who are making the money worldwide are should be important. Should be
well,
very important.
it should have a little bit more pull to say than the American audience because they're
They
not
should
looking
have
at the
way more
metrics.
pull than us.
And I think that that's what DC starting to realize because and I'm gonna bring up Marvel. I'm gonna bring up Marvel only on this basis to make my point. They're not looking at the American audience. People think that they're looking at the American audience. No, they're not looking at the American audience. If you go to Box Office Mojo and look at how much domestic versus worldwide without the United States involved, the ratio is quite clear.
Yeah,
If you're making over 60% around the world and 40% of the United States, then I would say, okay, you got to kind of look at the United States a little bit more. But if you're looking at a 70-30, then I'll be like, no, no, why are we looking at the United States? Let's look at the world. That
that's
makes more
insane.
sense because a 60-40, like let's say 60, like 65%, 35%, I'd be like, what the heck is going on? That means that
Yeah,
the world is not looking at the movie.
like Hellboy, right? The remake
Yeah,
with David Harbour. I'm gonna look this
yeah,
up right now, and I bet you it made more money. Uh, okay, Dread, another one that made more money overseas, right? But we're
yeah,
never
right.
gonna get the sequel. And Carl Urban is a better Dread. Look, Sloan, we love you, but dude, yours was slapstick. I wanted the version that I got with Carl Urban, and Carl Urban was the perfect person for that role. And you guys robbed us of a sequel. That movie was great. It followed the intensity of the comic. Like, we're trying to prove people wrong here, and you guys are making it hard for us to have quality movies, and that's not fair. You're, oh, well, the American audience doesn't care for it, so we're not going to make it. Yeah, but the world audience does.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the you guys to go by the world audience when it makes, well, I don't know, like let's say you paid 30 million to make it and the world audience made it freaking 400 million. Okay, there's a no-brainer. You made your money. Don't act like you didn't. Like, this is hurting us. This is insane. Like, they didn't make that much in this stuff. So the movie was 50 million estimated budget, right? So probably a little less.
Mm-hmm.
And opening weekend it only made 12 million. It grossed in the U.S. 21.9, and then worldwide, uh, collective worldwide gross was 44. So it didn't really do well. Fine,
No,
because the
I
world
saw.
audience didn't really grab it, which sucks because this was a good movie. But then when I look up Dread, which I'm gonna be mad because I'm sure it made the freaking crazy amount of money. Because everybody always talking about I want a sequel, I want a sequel. Then it's still out there. People are trying to get a sequel, and it also did the same thing. It did 41 million collective, which sucks. But that was a really great movie, though, and that really sucks. It's like you, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It was a
Well,
better movie.
here's one I want to really just so everyone gets the understanding. Hold on, let me pull up another one. Let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna get a comparison here. Okay, let's go to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, this is the theatrical cut, not the ultimate cut, because the ultimate cut came out a little bit later, and
Months later.
it came out much later, and it made a good chunk of money on top of their worldwide total. But the domestic was 37.8% of their worldwide total, while the international was 62.2. That's the theatrical cut. The ultimate cut blew. Okay, if people gotta remember something. Thor 3 came out, and it was everybody was talking about it. That's fine, whatever. That's fine. Their Blu-ray came out while BVS, the ultimate cut was out, and it didn't even move the needle for the ultimate cut on the Blu-ray sales. Didn't move the cut. Didn't even move it. It was like it was BVS, and then it was Thor 3 on Blu-ray sales. BVS, it was the highest rating, the highest selling Blu-ray of all time, the ultimate cut.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was talking about this, and I said this, I said, listen, the amount of people that bought that ultimate cut, shouldn't that told you right in your brain that, hey, wait a minute, if we brought this out in the theaters, how much money we would have made?
Mm-hmm.
No one had a problem with Zack Snyder behind the wheel. They had no problem with him doing Justice League, because that ultimate cut changed so many people's minds. You still gonna have the people that go, no, I still don't like it. No, I still don't. No, who cares? Who the hell cares? The people that changed their mind and say, hey, wait a minute, that extra 30 minutes made this movie made sense. I understand Lex's plan, which is a Lex plan. It's a Lex Luthor plan. Someone tells me, oh, Lex Luthor wouldn't do that. He wouldn't buy off the world to hate Superman. That's not Lex Luthor. Dude, move on. Get the hell away from
me. You obviously didn't read a comic. That's not Lex Luthor. What do you mean that's not fucking Luthor? It just reminds me of the basement dwelling ones. This Luthor wouldn't do that. Like, what?
What?
Oh, you didn't read.
Yeah, really whatever.
Read. Matter of fact, if we really went to how Superman really was in the comics, Superman used Jimmy Olsen as a decoy. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Superman dropped Lois from the sky to stop a crime, and then catch her. Barely. Oh, Superman's a dick. Like, really pay attention, homie.
Everyone's got to remember something, and I want to,
like,
and I want this to be completely ingrained in your brain, because we're getting a cut, so there's no reason to really go, well, it doesn't matter. No, it makes a huge difference if you look at what was going on with Batman v Superman. If they brought out that 3-hour cut, who the hell cares? That movie would have been, it flowed so much. That extra 30 minutes felt like it was nothing. It felt like 2.5 hours, because there was so much action that went through everything. You got the understanding of the story. Everyone moved on. You would have had a lot of people go,
movies, like, they go by so quick. You're like, it was how long? 240? Really?
Really?
Like,
yeah.
This is 3 hours. Like,
yeah, wow. So that's the reason why I'm saying is, imagine how much money they left on the cutting room floor by giving us the theatrical cut. Again, I watched it. My buddy Derek watched it. I think Hawk watched it.
Yeah, we saw it.
I was okay with it. I still enjoyed it. But that 30 minutes, it felt like a pillow. It felt like I was sitting on the most comfortable seat in my life. That movie was awesome. The movie, no, not was. It is awesome. Zach understood everything he needed to do to make that movie flow correctly. If you have a problem with some of these movies, that's fine. The movie's not going to be 100% perfect. He wanted to tell a story. This is the story he wanted to tell. It made sense. Simple as that. You knew where everybody was doing. You didn't feel like, why is he doing this? That makes absolutely no sense. No, it flowed. If they did that, we would never have had a problem with what we had with the Justice League. It would have been perfectly fine. They could have kept with it. And then look, and again, domestic 37.8 versus their international 62.2. That international and domestic would have been even more skewed, because if they brought out that 30-minute that ultimate cut, I guarantee you that domestic would have been around between 34 to 35%, and the rest would be all international. That is my guess, because more people international, the skew, it speaks for itself. If the theatrical cut had a 62.2 versus a 37.8, imagine the people who probably were on the fence with this movie saw the 30-minute and the extra 30 minutes and went, Jesus Christ, man, that skew would have been even more, and the money would have been a lot more. This movie would have made $1 billion. It would have easily made $1 billion. Less than $200 million, 137, about $132 million. If they it would have made it would have made $1 billion. So I get mad when people try to say that if the that it really didn't matter, because no, it made a huge difference, because if the Blu-ray sales was number one for 5 weeks or more. The Blu-ray sale of the Ultimate Cut was number one for weeks, and you had the biggest movie for Marvel, which was at the time was Thor 3. It blew, everybody loved it, and that movie could barely crack the Ultimate Cut of Batman v Superman, because people love that freaking movie. They like Thor. That's fine. I'm being fair about it. But imagine if that 30-minute came out, the Blu-ray would have been on for more weeks. More weeks. People would have been like, "No, give me this damn movie. Give me a steel book. Oh, you got an extra book? I want to buy that." They wouldn't. A lot of people would have still bought the Thor movie. That's fine. But this movie would have had no problem for Zack to keep the reins. This was the movie that screwed Zack, because they screwed Zack on this movie. They took out the extra 30 minutes, confused the audience, and then they brought out the Ultimate Cut, which pissed more fans off. It's like, why wasn't this in the damn movie? And they already started the whole petition to try to get him off of Justice League. And if you go to Justice League, the movie, the Avengers Justice League here, the international is 66.5 and the domestic is 33.5. And here's the reasoning why. Because of Batman v Superman. People were thinking, oh, okay, Zack's a part of this. Let's get his final movie and let's move on. And look at the skew. 229 million domestic and 453 international, versus 330 million domestic, 543 international. It petered out. But the international obviously liked the movie. We saw a lot. But if it was Zack's, it would have made another $1 billion.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, we got screwed over, man.
Yeah.
Like,
so this whole fandom, I'm going back to what I said before. I believe it is a huge, we're so sorry about what we did, and also here's some more stuff about DC products, the comics and everything else, and they're using this as a way of saying, hey, let's get the fans here. And I have my gut is really ringing on this. I think we're gonna get a trailer. We're gonna get a good, decent trailer for Justice League, for Zack's Justice League. We're gonna get some more information on Wonder Woman. And we're definitely I have a huge feeling we're gonna get something about Ezra's Flash. What's going on with that? I have a huge suspicion that we haven't heard nothing about that, and we know that Christina Hodson is writing it and Andy Muschicelli is directing it. So I think, and I'm being very honest with this, I'm glad that there is nothing coming out about this. This right here, this fandom, any Comic Cons, this is where we're supposed to get this information. This is where they can blow our minds and say, hey, we're working on it. This is what we got. And everybody's going to go, oh, my God. Who's the villains? Okay, great. So and Black Adam. So we're going to get some stuff about Black Adam. We know that they're working on it. So my whole thing is, this is where they can completely destroy the internet. Because I don't know what the heck Marvel's doing. I kind of don't give two craps. The only thing that we basically got from Marvel was they're doing the Eternals, which is supposed to be their way of saying It's their version of the New Gods because that's what the Eternals are. The Eternals are supposed to be Marvel's answer to Jack Kirby's New Gods. That's what they are. And I'm praying to God that they got Ava DuVernay off of it. I don't want her anywhere near New Gods. I don't want her anywhere near it. Give her
Good at her job anyway, so move on.
no, give her Static. Give her Black Lightning because that fits the her type of mentality, writing and directing. She wants to do
No, she'll
pro
ruin
black
those
stuff.
stories.
Do that, huh?
She'll ruin those stories. No, I don't like her as a writer. She's terrible. No.
I know she's
She'll
I know she's there, but
characters. They're some of my favorite characters. Don't do
no, no, no,
that.
no, 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 no. I'm saying she's just directed. I'm not saying write it. I said direct it.
No, she'll ruin it. She'll do a Joss Whedon. It's over. Like I'm telling you for a fact, she's gonna kill it.
Well,
Like
all I'm saying is from her previous type of
debacle.
movies. Well, I'm not saying debacles. I'm saying her previous movies. She does very pro black stuff.
I
So
don't
I'm just saying.
care about
I,
that. Like it's
here's the
fine, but
thing. I'm not. I'm. All I'm saying is I'm looking at directors what their previous stuff is. Their previous, the way they direct. She directs a lot of pro black stuff. It
that's fine.
fits the mold that she
But
would
be
be
good
on a
at it.
on uh, that's subjective. Okay, but her doing Black Lightning or Static or Icon, that fits to
Not the
what
perfect person to direct those movies, dude, and you probably
I
agree.
no, I
Michael
know,
Jordan.
dude. No, I already know who the heck can direct the movies better than her. I'm just saying
Oh,
how she basically directs. How she directs. All right. Hell, I can say Oprah Winfrey could do it better than her, and Oprah Winfrey sucks. All right. So they're saying basically go to dcfandom.com, which I'll click the link and then I'll save it as a favorite. And it says frequently for additional updates on what will be happening in DC Fandom, including new content, the Daily Star, which will kick off with a welcoming note from Jim Lee himself. I am so glad that Jim Lee's behind all this. I am so glad they got Jim Lee and not Jeff Johns. I think Jeff Johns is basically in the back, and that sucks. The guy's a great writer. He is a great writer. We can't take that away from him. He has
yeah,
great
but
ideas and stories, but he's a sloppy
yeah.
producer. He's a sloppy producer. I'm sorry, and he needed to actually put more stuff under his belt. He needed to have more producing. Despite how Hawk and I believe about Kevin Feige has more producing experience than Jeff Johns. He has way more, and that's
Well,
and that's even before Marvel. He had way more.
Jim Lee
But
is why you and I became friends. He's the full on behind the everything with the game that you and I became friends with, which is DC UL.
yeah, he was all
But that's
behind
a
it.
huge production.
Hmm.
So for him to want to dabble in this stuff, I would definitely want to give him a chance because that game was a huge undertaking.
Yeah, and and the thing about Jim Lee is he's not he's not particular. He's really not a very particular person. If the story makes sense and the director understands what he's doing and he takes some liberties, not too much liberties, but he keeps to the spirit of who the character is, Jim Lee's perfectly fine with it. And also
Yeah,
the thing and
okay,
also the thing
though.
Yeah, and also the other thing about Jim Lee is he wants to make more content. He doesn't want to say, "Well, we're going to hold back this because of no, 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 no." You want you case in point. Hey, you want to do a Joker film? What's it about? That seems cool. All right, go ahead and do it. You want to do a Birds of Prey movie? What's the premise? Okay, all right. Here's some money. Go and do that. He just wants to make movies. He wants to make movies, but he wants to make it particular to the
He
character that they're doing it with.
would have tweaked it out though.
Yeah.
The Bird Prey one, he would have definitely tweaked it because didn't he help with some of the stories because they
No.
had that involved or something like that?
Oh, no, no, no. In the comics, yeah, he helped with
Yeah,
some of that stuff. Yeah, he
all
did.
right, like because
Yeah.
Batman was involved and Batman was his baby, so I mean, I'm sure he's not gonna let somebody else do his Batman. Like, oh yeah, let you fucking take over the mantle. Like, no, I'm still writing the character. I'm still drawing the character. Whatever. Like,
Right,
why would I let you do it? And then he's like, this makes no sense. Why would he fight like this knowing that he doesn't fight like this? No, he would
right.
say something. Or
Yeah,
like, Harley Quinn's not like that because what is he draws these characters. So he's probably looking at her like, no, 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 no. We're not going to do this. What do you mean she doesn't know how to sing or use her powers? That's retarded. She's a meta. She should know how to do this from birth. Like, she's not going to bleed out. She's not going to. Are you kidding me? She's designed to do this. That's the whole point of a meta. It, I never watched the movie. I never will. As soon as you told me what was going on with Canary's character, I'm like, I am so done.
no,
I'm
yeah,
just. I don't
oh
even
yeah.
care she was black. I care about the fact that she didn't know how to use her powers, or she was scared to use them. Yeah, that was stupid. That was
And,
really
and,
stupid.
and the fighting was terrible. The fighting
And
was
she
really terrible.
was a fighter because okay,
Yeah.
we played the games, and they use the comics as reference in the games on how she fights in the games. So
Hmm.
you're saying she fought like Dookie the whole time? I don't
Yeah.
know, man. She was my ass when it's the AI.
Right.
I'm sorry, but she could fight, and she's a
Yeah.
meta. She's actually pretty strong. She's not a squishy meta. She's not a glass cannon. You can hit her. She could take a hit.
Yeah.
Like Batman can punch her, and she'll look at him like, "Really, bro? Uh oh." Yeah, it would take a few hits for him to start hurting her. Like she can take a hit. You can shoot her with the arrow, she'll break it off and stab you with the rest. That's her mentality. She's like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. And then put your ear through the other, like, put your ear right next to her freaking blowhole and put your brain out the other ear
Right.
because she's gonna scream it out the other side and your eyes are gonna bleed. She's gonna make your brain into mush out the other ear if you
Yeah.
piss her off enough.
Yeah.
She will like her person.
I was so freaking livid with that. I was like, you just screwed up one. Let me see. Yeah, you screwed up my second favorite DC
Yeah.
female hero in all time. My favorite DC female character, the woman I like in there is Lady Shiva. I love Lady Shiva. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's
And
awesome.
next to her
She's
is Black
technically
Canary. Huh?
she's technically a villain. I
Yeah.
mean, so
So I
huh?
mean, I'm like, are you kidding me here? You messed up my second favorite DC female? Nah, man. I
That's
don't.
why I have to
So
with the
people are
same.
like, yeah, it's just, nah, man. And then making her black made absolutely no sense. It didn't help her character. There was nothing different about her character. Her character was still crap.
Yep.
So, eh. But again, I mean, if someone got here's the thing, if someone got something out of it, I'm glad that you did. I thought it was terrible. He rather have his eyes peeled out. So Hawk rather have his eyes peeled out. So he's good. So no,
I will watch that movie.
yeah. So I'm glad that Jim Lee's gonna be. Well, we know that Jim Lee's gonna be part of it. He's the CCO. He's the chief creative officer. So we know that. I'm glad that he's gonna talk a little bit more, and I'm hoping that he gets us excited because this is a huge big event. This is something so big that a lot of people could be bum rushing him with a lot of information, and he wants to try to get what he needs to get out. So I'm hoping that whoever the host is relaxes, asking good questions, and give us an understanding about what's going to be going on. Especially depends on the comic book side. What's going on now? Because there's a lot of things going on the comic book side, but what the heck is going to happen on the movie side? Because that's the biggest thing now. Because the comic book section is sewn up. I think that Marvel. I'm sorry. I'm thinking DC is outselling Marvel on every front. There's only a few books in Marvel that's selling really really well. Um, but the movies and the movies we need to a lot of fans need to know at least what's going to be going on. You don't need to spoil anything. I don't want a 10-year I don't want a 10-year plan. Give me a 5-year plan. Give me a 3 to 5-year plan. Something that we know that this is happening, nothing's changing it. Like this is going to get made, then nothing's changing it. The sniffle virus is pushing a lot of stuff. That's fine. We all know that. We always understand that. But what is coming out? Like, are we gonna be waiting this long for the Flash movie? Are we really gonna wait this long for the Aquaman movie? I think the Flash movie could be done If they can get the ideas out now and they can start filming now, this movie could be out early 2022 or late 2021 next year. So it really, really depends. I'm really hoping that he gives us some information. Um, so, but also another thing is they're going to talk about Justice League, and it says the screenplay is by Chris Terrio and the story by Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder. DC Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Film producers are Charles Roven, Deborah Snyder. Executive producers are Christopher Nolan. I thought he was taking off.
Dude, why would he give up on them? He probably took a break.
No. What I mean is he wasn't an executive with BVS. I thought he. Oh no. He probably is still an executive. I'm sorry. He's probably more hands off. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Right.
His name is still on it. Okay. Emma Thomas, Jim Rowe, Ben Affleck, which makes sense. Wesley Collier, Chris Kanemoto, and Chris Terrio. So Chris Terrio is also an executive producer. They screwed this poor guy up. I personally want to hear. No, that's the other one. I want to hear Chris Terrio's opinion about what happened on the Star Wars movie, because that's the one I want to hear. But he talked about a little bit about the Justice League movie, and even he kind of said, "Yeah, there was a lot in there that you guys are missing." We're like, "Oh man, oh man."
It's like, geez, dude. Thanks for punching us in the gut.
No. Forget the gut. You punched me in the nuts, bro. That was a moment to me.
Being kicked in the teeth. So
yeah, right. Dang, man. So, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I will definitely keep a massive eye on this. I will. Let me see. Let me go ahead and click. Nope, not there. I'm gonna click the DC Fandom link. Hold on. Let me lock it here. Works best on desk. Yeah, of course. Open that on there. Let me put it under. Let's put it right here. All right, so I got it bookmarked for myself. Hoping Hawk puts it under his so we can both watch it. But there's a lot here, and I cannot wait. I want to go over and mostly look at the DC Watchverse and the Insiderverse. And see what's going on both fronts, and hopefully if they give out a cool piece of merch, I might just say screw that, and I might buy some merch and have it sent to my house so I have it. It's a once in a lifetime. Unless it's so expensive, I go, nah, I'm good.
It's gonna be like that for me for a while.
Yeah. All right. But let's see. Okay. So DC's one of the largest publishers of comics, graphic novels. Oh, here's one thing that I think that everyone needs to realize. Marvel was bought out by Disney about 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they still don't have all the rights to all their characters. So their characters are still over here. That's the reason why I feel that's why they bought Fox, so they get all their stuff all in one.
Well, except for Sony, because Sony would be like,
yeah,
no.
You ain't getting Spider-Man.
You'll never touch this character. We'll let you use them. We'll rent them out.
Right?
Like, what?
But Warner Brothers, by what Ann Sarnoff said, and that's not gonna be a mishap here. She said that for more than 85 years, the world has turned to DC's inspiring heroes to lift us up, to entertain us. So I want to know how long WB owned them. I think they owned them for maybe about 70. Unless you know something different, Hawk.
I think it's a good amount of time. I'm just not positive on it, to be honest.
I'm looking it up right now.
I can say, oh, I know. It's the beauty of the internet.
Oh, one guy saying from 1976.
Yeah, I know it wasn't that long, but I wasn't too sure.
Oh, WB purchased DC Comics in 1968. But now they're all owned by AT&T. So, haha.
Right? Doesn't matter.
And I want everyone to realize one other thing. When this cut does come out and they start doing a little bit of changes, realize that we got to make sure that this cut is going to be really really good. Now we know that's going to be really really good, but we got to give more views and get the word out and be truthful. Like, hey, if you didn't like something, say something, because they can say, hey, you know what, we can, some people didn't like it, let's change it a little bit, but let's keep in the spirit. But the main thing is, we need, Zach created a great foundation. He created a great foundation with Superman. He created a great foundation with Batman, a flawed Batman to the point where even he didn't realize he lost the heroism he used to be, and he was fighting it to become the hero again in Justice League. That was his whole story in Justice League. He was a fallen hero that's trying to redeem himself in Justice League. Wonder Woman's trying to rekindle herself. Aquaman's brand new. Cyborg is brand new. Flash is brand new. These guys are all brand new to the story, and he built a strong foundation. And people forgets to remember, the first superhero was Superman, so it made sense that Superman was the only hero. And then he meets Batman, who's been around for a while, but he's been so jaded because of the situation that was going on in his own city and his war with Joker, that it basically made him so cynical he didn't give two craps about anybody, which is understandable. That was the story of the Dark Knight Returns Batman. And I understand what Hawk was saying about that. Maybe it should be a young Bruce, this and that. But if it was a young Bruce, Superman would never have lived. Superman, he would have killed him.
No. I said it needed to be older.
Oh, okay.
Because
All right,
remember
then.
when they fought in the comics, he had to be older. He was like 80, dude.
Yeah.
And one
Yeah.
arm Green Arrow freaking hit homie with the kryptonite gas arrow.
Yeah.
And
And
then
it was
that's why he gave his speech. He was
yeah.
80 saying, I am the one person on this planet that could have killed you. And I didn't. And I want you to remember that. And then he faked
Right.
his death. And then we had the army,
Yeah.
the bad army later.
Yep.
No, it needed to be, it could have been, that's why I said it should have been Michael Keaton again. Because he's old enough. And him putting on that armor suit would have made sense. Yeah, that was the argument I had. I was like, no, homie needs to be older. Look, nothing against Ben. I just wanted, you're going to have them fight each other. It should have been an older Batman. But because of what he wanted to do with Justice League later, because we didn't know if we were going to have Justice League, I
Right.
just wanted it to be, consistent with some of the comics. Like, why is he so young? I mean, homie's in his 40s, right? So that's still really young, dude.
Yeah. Um. Um. I understood that part, but a lot of people were wondering, like, okay, is Ben going to stick around? And I'm going, well, we got to know what's going on. But when we heard that Zach wanted to kill Batman, I was like, okay, that makes sense why he's old, why he's in his 40s. It makes sense because he was going to kill him, and that was the end of the story, and then they were going to whatever's going to happen afterwards, whatever they were going to do afterwards. So it made sense with that. But a lot of us were saying, oh, they should keep going with Ben's Batman, and we love his Batman, this and this and this. That's
Yeah,
why I
he's
felt
good.
that, yeah, he was great. And that's why he pushed forward to want to probably do his version, his Batman. But I would have thought that he would have died, but I think that we would have had prequel movies, and they could easily make him look younger. I mean, they had to use a lot of makeup to make him old, and they put gray highlights in his hair to show that he got old, that he grew gray hair. And he had more gray hair than even freaking Alfred. That was scary as hell too. That shows that he's done a lot. This dude did a lot. He has almost more gray hair than did Alfred. Wow. So that should tell you something. He saw a lot of crap.
He took a beating.
Yeah, he took a lot of beatings. Jesus.
And he drank a lot.
Yeah, he drank a lot too. So he was drinking to make the I think to make the nightmares go away or something like that. I think there was a lot more. There was so much depth.
It was
That
more pain than physical.
exactly. And I think there was a lot there that there's people are still chewing on BVS because he was drinking a lot, and honestly, I have never seen Batman drink that much ever. Not even the Dark Knight Batman in the comics didn't drink that much.
Because it was real whiskey.
Yeah, right. So
No,
he
not
was
to fun too much, but
yeah,
homie's sober now, so yeah.
yeah.
He's like, give me that bottle of JMO. JMO, why are you going cheap? Because I could get it by the case cheaper than I could get the one bottle of the other shit.
Right. So so I understand. That's why I felt that Ben's was going to be more of a prequel leading up to the events, probably of the death in the family. So, and that would have been his jadedness going after the Joker and what they got, and a lot of the stuff. And to get in this, and let's see where we're at right now. Okay, to kind of slowly let's now wrap this up. One of the things that really now starting to make a lot of sense with what David Ayer was talking about, that he didn't like the fact that the Joker had the grill. He didn't really like that fact. He thought that it made no sense why Batman would just punch his teeth out and walk away. And now and people were saying that, and I think it was David Ayer that said that was a Jeff Johns thing. I was like, what? What? Yeah, because that made no sense to me either. He has a Joker in the palm of his hand. He could snap his neck, throw him off a bridge.
Sent him to Arkham. Like, why would he just leave him there? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, why would he punch his teeth in? Because the Joker's gonna keep egging him. The Joker's gonna do that. That's who he is. And you're telling me he's gonna punch literally his front teeth, his lower teeth, his chompers, and his canine teeth. He's gonna punch all that in and go, I'm done, and walk away. That makes no sense to me. Or pick him up and throw him into Arkham after he busts his teeth open. That makes absolutely no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. If he was that enraged, he would have kept punching until Joker's face looked like his fist. There was an impression of his fist in his face.
Alfred tells him to stop.
Eventually. Probably.
Because Alfred's always listening. Okay, people. Alfred always listens. Always.
Yeah.
Whether he's in the cave or if he's in the house, he has an earpiece.
Yep.
And people don't pay attention. But I don't know what it is, man. Like, because he's walking around the house, cleaning sometimes, talking to him. What does that tell you? He's got one of those small earbuds in his ear, listening to him. Unless he really needs to go on the computer to help him, he's going to maintain the manner. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be like sitting around like, well, okay, we'll do this. Like, he's not going to be chewing on popcorn. He's like, okay, well, since I don't need to help you on the computer right now, I'm going to go over here and clean this. I'm going to go fix this.
Yeah.
Really?
And knowing Jeremy Irons' version, he's going to be on the computer. Because he's down. There is no manor. The manor is destroyed. We don't know what happened in the manor.
Yeah.
The manor is destroyed. They're living in a little condo on the next by Gotham Lake.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on with that. But the Batcave is underneath that. So something happened, and I really, really hope. My whole thing is they give us a hint that Ben's coming back and he wants to do that movie. If they do that, it'll destroy the internet. Internet, done. If they announce that Ben Affleck is going to do his movie, Henry Cavill's coming back, he's going to do Superman. If they make the right announcements, I guarantee you it's going to destroy the internet. This will be talked about for the next 2-3 weeks, maybe longer, depending on what else comes out. But if they just announcing Ben Affleck's coming back as Batman and he's going to do his movie, that's going to destroy the internet. It'll destroy the internet.
I'd be happy.
I think a lot of people will be happy. So we have to see. Like I said, hopefully I get this day off. I will say nope, not coming in. I'm sick. If I have to.
Yeah, dude, because you were forced in this weekend. So yeah, too bad, so sad. Man up, nut up, and go.
So
you're grown. Figure it out.
So I want to sit down. I want to do this. I want to hear what's going on. I actually want to. If one of the merch is really cool, and I want to buy it, especially if it's a Batman figure, I want to get it. Even if it's a Henry Cavill's Superman figure, I want to get it because I like Henry Cavill's Superman. I actually enjoy Superman now because of what Zack and Henry did. I
Yeah.
enjoy that version of Superman. I actually like his Superman. I can actually understand his Superman. I don't want. I mean, I don't mind the apple pie version of Superman once in a while, just so we get a different take of Superman. But I don't want that all the time. No, thank you. Not everyone want to eat apple pie all the freaking time. Give me.
I don't like apple pie.
See, so
I
that
actually
tells you
don't like.
something. That tells you something right there. He says, I don't eat. I hate apple pie. Yeah, that's the reason why he doesn't like that version of Superman. See, right there. Sheesh. Give me. I want a different Superman because it renews the character and it gives you an understanding of why the classic Superman is so beloved, and I understand why he's so beloved, but the thing is, give me something a little bit different so then I can go, hey, you know what, I can appreciate this Superman and I can appreciate this other Superman. I can appreciate all the Superman. Just don't shove something down my throat. Sorry, if you do that, I'm done. Bye. So but I'm gonna leave it there. I will have the new link for our the Elites podcast that will be up Mondays. So always be up on Mondays. We'll try to get it out we'll try to do it either on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Hopefully not Sunday, but we'll try to get this out by Monday so you guys can have it as a Monday podcast to listen to. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys can stick with us. Subscribers, keep subscribing to all of it, everything. And I'm still doing my vlog over on Dark Side Elite, so you get my opinions about certain things there. And but I hope to see you guys over. I hope to hear from you guys over at the DC Fandom. I will be watching it, and then once myself and Hawk get a feel of it, we're gonna do sequential podcasts to talk about what we saw and everything else. And then if we do one or two, we'll have that out for the weekend, maybe Monday and a Tuesday, and not do a podcast that day. So we're gonna give you what we feel about the Fandom. All right. Was there anything you wanted to say, my man?
Yeah, like if you guys enjoy my ranting, pass it along. And thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you. Like I said before, like, comment, share, subscribe down below, hit the bell. Again, Mondays we'll have it out, and we'll hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for joining us. You have a great one. Bye.